After watching some of these movies, you might never feel comfortable being stuck in one place again. Because horror movies taught us one thing: you don't need a big setting to be terrified. Sometimes all it takes is one room, one house, or even being stuck in one spot with no way out. And that's what makes these movies so scary. You're stuck in the same spot as these characters right along with them. And for the sake of this video, I handcuffed myself to my chair. As you can see, as you can see, for the sake of this video, I handcuffed my left. I thought it'd be funny, probably not. So today we're counting down 5 one-location horror movies that you need to watch. And trust me, these get intense real fast. So let's get right into these. Our first movie is Hush from 2016. Man, this is just a perfect way to start a one-location horror movie list. Hush is quite simply a masterclass in tension, and when it comes to making a one-location horror movie list, I mean, this one is one of the best to do it, and it makes it a home invasion so intense by having it. Most home invasions are just in one location, but this one, has some aspects which make it so much more intense than any other home invasion, which makes it one of the best home invasions and also one of the best one location horror movies. The story follows Maddie, a deaf writer who lives alone in a secluded house in the woods, which is a great idea. Her quiet life gets turned upside down when a masked killer shows up outside her home and starts to toy with her. What makes this situation even more terrifying is that Maddie can't hear him, so she has no idea where he is at times or what he's planning. The entire movie becomes a brutal game of survival as she tries to outsmart someone who has every advantage over her. This movie is just pure tension. The premise and idea alone is terrifying. Like, imagine someone breaks into your house and you're trying to survive a home invasion situation and you can't hear anything surrounding you. You can't hear his footsteps, you can't hear his breathing, you can't hear if he's shooting at you, really. Like, you literally can't hear anything going on, and it's just, imagine that. This movie keeps you locked in the entire time, and the way it uses the sound design makes it 10 times more intense than it would be if they didn't have a master sound design director behind this. So it works extremely well, and you're just always on the edge of your seat. It's one of those movies where you're just glued to the screen the entire time. And of course, again, Mike Flanagan is the director here. It might be his debut. I'm not exactly sure. Don't know if that's true or not, but absolutely amazing. He's one of the GOATs. So this movie rocks. I'm sure you've already seen it. We've even talked about this on recent videos, but I mean, I couldn't leave it off this list. Fun fact, this movie takes place in a single isolated house, and that isolation is what makes it so effective. Being out in the middle of nowhere with no one around to help adds another layer of fear. The film also uses sound, or lack of sound, in a really creative way to put you in directly Maddie's perspective. You can watch Hush on Tubi and Pluto TV for absolutely free. Our second movie is Gerald's Game from 2017. This one is such a creepy concept and kind of terrifying. And wait, hold on. Oh no. Gerald's Game takes a quite simple premise and just like a normal situation and turns it into something very intense and very terrifying. And on top of that, it actually gets pretty disturbing too. The story follows a married couple who go to a remote lake house to try to fix the relationship. Things take a dark turn when the husband handcuffs his wife Jessie to the bed as part of a game, and then suddenly he dies, leaving her completely stuck with no way to escape. From there, the movie becomes a psychological and physical nightmare as she's forced to survive while trapped in one place, battling dehydration, fear, and her own mind, and maybe even some more stuff. This is one of those movies where the situation alone is terrifying. It's like the situational thrillers like Frozen 2012, like that type of situation where you're trapped somewhere and you're like, how do you survive this? Well, I guess all of these movies are, so, but you know what I mean. And I didn't even realize, thinking of Gerald's Game, I mean, come on, like, this is exactly Gerald's Game right here. This is exactly what's going on. Like, I'm just imagining myself being handcuffed to the bed by that dude. Never mind. Being stuck and helpless alone is already scary enough, but the movie takes it to an even further level by diving into grief, trauma, and psychological horror. It keeps you locked in the entire time, and the tension just builds as things just get worse throughout the movie. Fun fact, the entire movie is basically centered around one room, one bedroom, with Jessie stuck on the bed the whole time. It proves you don't need a big setting to make something intense intense, just a terrifying situation. And yeah, the movie also has one of the creepiest figures you'll ever see in horror that shows up throughout. You can watch Gerald's Game on Netflix. It's a Netflix original, I believe. Our third movie is 10 Cloverfield Lane from 2016. Man, this one is just so intense, and it really does a good job at making you feel like you're in the same situation as the character, because we only know what the character knows, and we really don't know the truth about what's going on in this area as well as the main character. So we're figuring it out along the way, which makes it a very good thriller horror movie. The story follows a woman who wakes up after a car crash and finds herself locked inside an underground bunker with two men. One of them claims there's been some kind of apocalyptic event and the outside world is no longer safe, but the real question becomes, is he telling the truth, or is this something way more dangerous going on inside the bunker? This movie turns into a constant psychological battle as she tries to figure out who she can trust and how to escape. This movie is all about tension and paranoia. You're constantly questioning what's real, what's not, and what's going on. And then you're also questioning the intentions of all the other characters or the two men that are in this bunker with her. It keeps you guessing the entire time, and that feeling of being trapped not only in just one location, but at one location that's underground, like in a bunker, just makes it even more intense. Fun fact, most of this movie takes place inside a single bunker, which adds to that claustrophobic feeling. It's a perfect example of how a one location setting can still feel huge just through the story and performances. And the way it slowly reveals what's actually going on is done really well. You can watch 10 Cloverfield Lane on Pluto TV for free. Our fourth movie is Saw from 2004. Alright, now we've got a classic. Saw is one of the most iconic one location horror movies ever, and it completely changed the genre. And if there's even one person watching that hasn't seen this, I don't even think that's possible. The story follows two men who woke up chained in a dirty, abandoned bathroom with no idea how they got there. Between them is a dead body and a set of instructions from a mysterious killer known as Jigsaw. As the movie goes on, they're forced to play a twisted game where they have to make impossible decisions to survive. Through the flashbacks and clues, we slowly learn how they ended up there and what the rules of the game really are. This movie is just insanely entertaining. I low-key hear a lot of hate as of recent about, like the first Saw movie, but I think it's really good. I think it's really good. The concept, it's simple, but it's executed literally perfectly. It keeps you guessing the whole time, and the tension really never drops, and you're still guessing, even towards the end of the movie. And, of course, that's one of the most insane plot twists in all of horror. Genuinely, I had no idea that was going to happen the first time I watched it, and I literally watched it 20 years after it even came out. So it's just absolutely absurd. Don't read up on anything if for some reason you haven't seen this before you watch it. Just go in blind. And also, Jigsaw is one of those characters that actually kind of scared me as a little kid. I never had watched the movies, but just Jigsaw and seeing kids dress up as him for Halloween, right around the little tricycle. It's pretty scary. Fun fact, most of the movie takes place in that single bathroom, proving how effective one location can be when the story is strong. This film also kicked off one of the longest running horror franchises ever and helped popularize that more intense trap-based style of horror, or bloody torture corn. You can watch Saw on Netflix. Our fifth movie is Misery from 1990. Our last one is Misery, and this is easily one of the most terrifying situations on this whole list. The story follows a famous actor who gets into a car accident during a snowstorm and is rescued by a woman named Annie. At first, she seems kind and helpful, but it quickly becomes clear that something is very wrong. She turns out to be his #1 fan, and she's not letting him leave. What follows is a brutal psychological nightmare as he's trapped in her house, forced to do whatever she says just to stay alive. This movie is just straight up uncomfortable in the best way. Some of these situations you'll actually cringe and actually want to look away, not because it's scary or bloody, but because it is so uncomfortable. You literally feel like you're there with this guy and you're like, I don't want anything to do with this. The acting is incredible, especially from Annie, and the tension, it just keeps building the entire time. You never know what she's gonna do. You never know. She's so bipolar in this movie. It's just you cannot guess her next move ever. And it's also interesting that Annie is the CEO of the company that buys Dunder Mifflin in The Office. And I didn't like, I never really put that two together, but I don't know why that's so funny, but it just is interesting. It's one of those movies where you're constantly thinking about how you would escape and like what would you do in this situation, even though if you were in the situation you probably wouldn't escape because of like the what he's put in and like what he goes through. And it's, I don't think it'd be tough. It'd be tough to escape. Plus that ankle scene, if you know, absolutely brutal. One of the most brutal cringe reactions I've ever had from a scene. It's brutal. Fun fact, most of the movie takes place inside one house during a snowstorm, which makes it feel even more isolating. And again, the ankle scene alone is enough to stick with you forever. If you know, you know. You can watch Misery on MGM and Netflix. So there are 5 horror movies that take place in just one location, but I have to pick just one to recommend out of this list. I'm gonna go with Gerald's Game from 2017. Honestly, this movie sneaks up on you. It's a low-key scary. It's deeply tense. It keeps you thinking long after it ends, and the psychological horror combined with the isolated cabin setting makes it feel claustrophobic, but in a good way. And that tall man that shows up in the 3rd act, I mean, I always had seen that character like on the Try Not to Get Scared videos on YouTube when I was a kid. I'd watch those all the time, and he was always on there, and I thought he was scary, and I never knew where it was from. Like, I thought it was like a creepypasta or something, but it's from this movie, and when you see it, it's just as scary as those videos. This one isn't about jump scares. It's about grief, fear, survival, all wrapped into one intense, one location nightmare. If you only watch one from this list, make sure it's Gerald's Game, because the rest, I feel like they're more mainstream. You've probably already seen them. Gerald's Game, yeah, it's mainstream, but I feel like it doesn't get talked about really a lot. But it is a perfect example of how one location horror movies can be absolutely terrifying. Let me know which ones you've seen and which one location horror movies I missed. Let me know down in the comments below. Please drop a like and hit that subscribe button, or you will find yourself handcuffed to the bed with a monster staring at you. Well, you might actually like that though. Thank y'all so much for watching. Have a blessed day, and peace!